you with, Kirk, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm with Kirk. I'm out. Welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. Welcome to Speak on it with who you with. I'm out. I'm out. I'm welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. Welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm welcome. Welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. Welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm welcome. Welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. Welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm welcome to Speak on it. 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 Welcome to Speak. 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 Who you with, Kirk, dog?
Welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kirk, dog. I'm him. Who you with, Kirk, dog? Hopefully y'all had a great weekend. Stay safe. I know those storms came through last night, which at the food. But hey, we're still. I want to welcome everyone on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. D Live is always in the house. And also Anchor.fm. You can subscribe to the channel on Anchor.fm for a very low fee of $2.99 a month. And you can get episodes that we don't do on this platform. So you can definitely tune in for that. Hopefully y'all are safe. It's Monday. It don't feel like a Monday, but it is Monday. So we are here. Tonight, we're going to do a couple of stories. I don't know if y'all seen the story last week that came out. Clifford Owensby, out of, he's a paraplegic man. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And then also, Jelani Day. Had been all over the news today about once the autopsy was done and what was found. So hit on that too, and talk about that a little bit. And you can live chat with us in the chat room, and you can also call in if you want to. You can call in, and we can have an open discussion about it. So we can do that and go from there. So, excuse me. So let's get this party started. I'm still trying to get my monitor up, but we could go ahead and get this party started and go from there. Excuse me. So I seen the video last week that Clifford Owensby. He was pulled over by Dayton Police Department, Dayton, Ohio. I'm saying Dayton, Ohio Police Department, and for allegedly leaving a drug house. It's always easy to say that, but when the officer came up to the car, he asked him what he was being pulled over for, and he didn't really give him no reason, but he asked him to step out the car, and he said, "Officer, I can't." And he explained to the officer that he's a paraplegic, and he couldn't get out the car. And the officer said, "Well, you got a choice. Either you get out, or we're gonna drag you out." And he's like, "No, I'm a paraplegic. I cannot walk." The officer asked, "How did you get in the car?" He said, "I had someone to help me to get in." "Well, you need to get out the car. We're going to drag you out." And Mr. Owensby said, "Hey, y'all cannot touch me. You will injure me and I will sue you. The officer didn't care about that. He thought the brother was lying. So since he thought the brother was lying, when it come down to it, um, they decided to pull him out the car. And um, so they pulled him out the car and not only pulled them out, but they also drug him to the car. Now take it, if this was anybody else saying, hey, I'm a paraplegic, I can't get out, would this have happened like that? I guess that's the question of the day. Do you think it would have happened like that? So this is from NBC News. Police in Ohio forcibly pulled a paraplegic man out of his vehicle and threw him to the ground. Despite his repeated appeals and him saying he has no use of his legs, according to body camera video released Friday. Um, the Dayton Police Department shared the video. NBC News that shows two officer command motorist Clifford Owensby to step out of the Audi he was driving during a traffic stop last week. The video was edited and it is not clear what happened before or after the video. Owensby can be heard telling officers he's a paraplegic. Um, One of the officers said he'll help him out of the car, but the motorist declined while he was pulled over. I can't get out the vehicle, sir, Owensby said. The officer told Owensby he needed to be out of the vehicle so his dog could smell for drugs, but the motorist objected. That's a violation because he's not giving him permission to search. They don't have a reason for doing it. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not going to touch me. You are definitely not going to touch me. He could be heard saying in the video, there will be a lawsuit if you put your hands on me for no reason, bro. Onsby then appeared to make a phone call, asking someone to come to him and film his interaction with officers. Onsby asked officer to call their supervisor before they unbuckle him and appeared to drag him out by his shoulder length dreadlocks. He screamed and repeatedly shouted, somebody help me, as officer pressed him to the pavement. One put his knee into his back and Onsby kept pleading for help. At one point, he screamed, can y'all call the real police, please? As one officer threatened to take the officer involved have not been identified. Dayton Fraternity Order of Police President Jerome A. Ditz said in a statement Friday night that the officer asked for compliance and offered to assist Onsby when they were told he was paraplegic. He said the motorist continued to be verbally non-compliant, thus escalating the officer response. First of all, man telling you he'll paraplegic and they want him to get out the car. Who's going to take that responsibility? You got to have him somewhere sitting up. That don't make sense. The officer followed the law, their training and department police policy and procedure. He said sometimes the arrest of non-compliance individual is not pretty, but it's necessary part of law enforcement to maintain public safety, which is one of the fundamental of our society. Onsby did not respond to NBC News attempt for comment Friday, but it's in Daily News and a story published Monday. I feel like they don't even respect me as a citizen. Um, he said he suffered strips from being pulled from the vehicle. He told the publication a previous back injury was re-injured. Dayton Mayor Nate Wally said in a statement Friday, the video of this police interaction is very concerning to me. No matter where you live or what you look like, everyone deserves to be with dignity and respect when dealing with Dayton police. She said the incident was under investigation. Dayton remained committed to our ongoing community-led police reform process and providing transparency in a situation like this. Um, so in the video, once they got by his dreadlocks, you can see them dragging him across the parking lot. His legs dragging on the concrete ground. One officer picked the shoe up, tried to throw it back into the car, and it didn't go in, so he picked it up again and threw it in. Now, take it, NBC News didn't say this in this particular report, but books or anything was found in the car. Nothing was found in the car, even though the officer wanted him out the car for they can search the car with the dogs, but nothing was found. And see, that's why I hate when news outlet get part of the story, because they mention he have dreadlocks, he'll pull that by his dreadlocks, but tell the whole story. Because now somebody who just read this, they're gonna think, oh, he was arrested, he must did something wrong. No, put it all in there that hey, it was no drugs found in the vehicle nor on him, and what they did was violated his right as a citizen of America, violated his civil rights, and what they done was illegal. First of all, he asked what he was being pulled over for. They never told him, never read him his rights. Another thing you got to add in there, because and several other news outlet I read, they did say the lawsuit stated he wasn't read his rights or anything like that. So now he have a re-injury to it, and now I can just imagine what he's going through, having to live through that and being threatened to be they putting a knee in your back, and you on the ground, you already can't walk. That dog could searched around that car with him sitting in the car. So now you're putting this city at a liability. That's why I feel when cops do stuff like this, unfortunately, they should lose part of their pension to pay for these lawsuits. That's when you get officer to stop and respect them. But then a lot of police departments also recommend this type of treatment. And for that union rep, the way that he said he was non-compliance, but you overlooking the fact that this man is paraplegic. What you mean he's non-compliance? Look at that part first, because I'm sure if he could walk, he would have got out as the officer asked him to, and it would have been the end of the story. But because he couldn't walk, you siding with the police officer. Y'all need to get some family jewels siding with the wrong side. That's common sense. Do your job, but do it the right way. Don't cover up for these bastards. Yeah, I understand you getting that money every month, and you charging them this fee, and y'all make good money representing them. But at the same time, do what's right. Do your job. Well, I guess in a sense you are doing your job representing this guy, but at the same time you got to do it the right way. And what I mean about the right way, you know, and everybody else know what they did was wrong. It was wrong for the simple fact they did not read him his rights. They knew he could not walk. They drug him out by his hair, by his dreadlocks, put their knee in his back. And if that was a white person, would they have done the same? I doubt it. And it probably never would have been pulled over. But I doubt it. If it was a Caucasian person, they would have been done the same way. That's what we need to change in America. That's what we need to be able to treat everybody with respect, regardless of their race or anything. We're all here. Now it's different if he was just trying to throw y'all off because he was riding dirty, but this man wasn't riding dirty. He just couldn't get out the car. He can't walk. And if he would have opened the door, you would have assumed he could have walked and got him out and he fell and bumped his head or something and could have killed him. So yeah, you want to know why people feel the way they do about policemen? Now, I'm not saying all policemen because I know a lot of great policemen. Um, but at the same time, you up here, this man is playing with y'all. Hey, even threatening, if you do this, I'm gonna sue y'all. Now, if he would have done all this and got out the car and then walked over to your patrol car or even walked out of jail, that would have been completely different. But when it comes down to certain group of people, they automatically think they're lying about the situation. That's what we need to do. I understand you got to protect yourself, you got to be safe, but we only hear about these type of incidents when it's dealing with black folks. When it's dealing with black folks. Yeah, and there's some black folks that are bad, just like every race have bad people in them. But in this situation, you should have paid attention to this brother. But once again, that didn't matter because he was black. You automatically assume he was lying about it. And that's what the problem is. You can't assume every black person is going to lie to the police. Just like you can't assume every white person going to tell the police the truth. So, but that's the mindset that a lot of people have, that if they black, they wrong. They white, they okay. We got to stop that too. And that's a problem within itself, because of that. And for Dayton, the city of Dayton, yeah, go on, prop open that checkbook, because it's gonna cost you. It's gonna cost you. I don't know if the car had handicap license plates on it or not. I have no idea. But he should have um, asked for his license. I'm sure it probably would have been something on his license about it. I don't know. But still, it didn't matter to them. They didn't care. They did not care. And just some tasing him, and then he um, turned out with more injuries than what he already have, which they re-injured his back. So I'm like, hey, they re-injured his back, so now they got to pay the price. That's all to it. And why I'm talking about that, yeah, I understand. Cops do a dangerous job because you cannot trust a lot of people when it come down to being a police officer. Hell, this day and time, we can't trust nobody at all, even if you just a regular citizen, because people are savage in this day and time, trying to do anything they can, anything they want to do to be able to uh, come up instead of going after work. Now, I'm not saying all people, because there's a lot of people working a couple of jobs just to survive, but there's a lot. Welcome to the show, T-Cal. I see you and flipped in. Thank you for always supporting the show. Continue to watch, tell a friend, share it. But yeah, that's a sad situation, and I know over the weekend also a Georgia officer lost his life over the weekend. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe he was saved. It was his first day. Um, Let me pull it up. Damian Ferguson.
Speedman is back
Um,
on grade.
I didn't want to do that. Hold on. This thing, I hate when stuff just cut on. But George Damian Ferguson was accused of killing uh, Alamo, Georgia, Sir Dalen Harrison, who was killed while working his first shift. Authorities said. Um, yes, T-Cal said I heard the story too, and they said it was his first day. Yeah, first day. It's a dangerous job, and unfortunately, he lost his life. Um, I'm trying to, and just like that, the story disappeared. Trying to see if I can get it back up. Um, but let me do it a different one. I said, we're trying to play a video. That's what that is.
Welcome to where the magic happens.
Hold on.
Who ate the pork rinds? Not cool. Not cool.
All right, let me get it from a different way because that one want to play the story instead of letting me read it. But he was 26, shot to death in his first shift on the job. Alamo, Georgia, a man accused of gunning down a Georgia police officer during his first shift with the department ambushed him in retaliation for the officer arrest of an associate hours earlier. Authorities said Sunday evening the Georgia Bureau of Investigation said 43-year-old Damian Anthony Ferguson has been charged with murder in the shooting death of Officer Dalen Harris outside the Alamo Police Department early Saturday. Harrison, 26, was in law enforcement since 2018. Reports CBS making affiliate WMAZ TV before becoming a police officer. He had jobs with the East Dublin, Georgia Police and the Oklahoma Drug Task Force. Harrison was also a firefighter and paramedic, the station say. On Friday afternoon, Harrison approached a driver in the parking lot of a Circle K convenience store across from the police department after he observed a traffic violation. Authorities said the driver refused to identify himself, and then the action escalated when the man pushed Harrison. Harrison used his taser, arrested the man, and took him to jail, authorities said. It is believed that the ambush-style attack on Officer Harrison was retaliation for the incident and arrest of the man. The Bureau said in a statement they did not identify the man. Speaking at a press conference Sunday, Alamo Police Chief Karen Zandra said, I have never experienced the grief that I have felt since Officer Dalen Harris' life was taken in our small, quiet time. His life was taken from him for simply doing his job, she added. Ferguson was taken into custody on Sunday afternoon at his home in Alamo, located in Wheeler County, about 90 miles southeast of Macon, Georgia. A state SWAT team and division of the U.S. Marshal Service arrested him without incident following a large manhunt. He is charged with aggravated stalking related to a previous domestic incident and has been held in Lawrence County Jail, authorities said. It was not immediately known Sunday if he has an attorney to speak on his behalf. Harrison is survived by his wife and their 6-month-old son. Um, yeah, that's hard. Doing his job and get killed, and um, and we are diverse on here. Officer Harrison is a Caucasian police officer, and the suspect is a black man, which he's wrong, and he should get everything he should get for his action. So, um, killing a police officer or anyone in that fact, just because you upset at them, it's not the way to go. And that's why I say all the time, just because someone is allowed to get a gun doesn't mean they should get one, because they of age to get one, but that mindset is not right for a gun. So prayers go out to Officer Harris' family and his 6-month-old baby. Man, that's a hard one on that one. So hopefully they charge him to the fullest extent of the law. And that's the way they should be done, without a question. He should definitely get every bit of time he should get. Um, yeah. Real quick. You're listening to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt Dog. I'm Who You With Kurt Dog. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. The Live is in the house, and also we're recording for Anchor.fm. This next story, which is really crazy because we just did a story about it. Jamina Day, the brother that was missing out of Bloomington, Illinois, that his body had been sitting in a morgue for a pretty good while. And the police would not do a DNA because they said they did not have the chemical to do the DNA. But I kind of think I know why they didn't do it. But before we get to that, that was during the time when Gabby was missing, when all the news outlet was talking about Gabby, and uh, and the family felt this was a time to put a spotlight on his missing case. And we talked about it on the show, and the very next day they ID'd the body that it was him. Now I'm starting to know why they didn't want to say it was him the whole time, because either way you look at it, it was going to be a bad situation. Well, it probably wouldn't have been that bad if they would have identified him at the beginning, but because you helped out to identify him, and once the autopsy was done, now it kind of makes sense the reason why you didn't identify him. So Twitter demands justice for Jalen Day after autopsy found organs were removed from his body. Day's brain, eyeballs, spleen, and more were removed from his body, and autopsy found. Social media users are demanding justice for Jalen Day and his family amidst disturbing findings from his recent autopsy. According to Chicago Sun-Times, an autopsy performed by a private forensic pathologist found that Day's corpus was missing its organ, including his brain, liver, and spleen. His eyeballs had reportedly been removed. His front, top, and bottom teeth were missing. His jawbone had been sawed, but it sawed out, and his genitals was unidentified. A pathological report added that Day organs were completely liquefied, according to his family attorney, Haley M. Bisner, is currently seeking out scientific explanation for how his body could have decomposed so severely. A body discovered in the Illinois River near Peru, Illinois on September the 4th, over a week after his August 24th disappearance, was confirmed to be Days on September the 23rd. Police have since called the circumstance surrounding the 25-year-old Illinois State University student death and disappearance very suspicious. Before his body was found, Day's mother expressed her frustration about the lack of coverage regarding his disappearance. I was very frustrated with the fact that Jalen hadn't been getting the coverage. Cameron Day told the Sun Times Jalen has been missing for 24 days. It appears that help has ceased. I'm imploring, pleading, and asking that the police still pay attention and look for my son. At the time, media coverage was heavily centered around missing woman Gabby Potato, about whom Day's mother said her face is plastered everywhere and the FBI is involved. And I do not understand why Jalen doesn't get the same coverage. Jalen doesn't get that same attention. On Monday, October 11th, hashtag Justice for Jalen Day began trending on Twitter as user pointed out the disturbing circumstance surrounding his death. One day, y'all will soon realize organ trafficking is just as real as scary. It's just as real and scary as sex trafficking. If you look into how many Black bodies are found with no organ inside of them, you'll be very surprised and disgusted, one person wrote. An article by Jalen Day today said multiple of his organs were missing from his body. I definitely feel like they organ trafficked this young man. Jalen didn't kill himself. His body was found with no organ, no eyes, his genital was damaged, etc. This wasn't a suicide. He was murdered, and no one is coming for it. Another person tweeted, on Saturday, October the 9th, hundreds of Day's friends, family, and neighbors gathered at Danville High School to celebrate his life and legacy. She posted about the autopsy finding on Twitter below. Um, Jalen didn't kill himself. His body was found with no organ, no eyes. His genitals were damaged, etc. If you are calling with no call ID, I do not accept calls with no call ID. You have to unblock your number. So I would not answer a call with no call ID. So the young lady put that out on Saturday, and it started trending. So it was definitely, I seen it this morning, and I'm like, hey, no, we need to talk about this, because a lot of times stories like this get swept under the rug, and we need to keep pressure on the police to investigate it, because we have covered a lot of cases where organs was missing. I believe it was last year. I think a young lady went to a New Year's Eve party or something, and she was later found in the freezer. I believe some of her organs was missing, and they couldn't find her nowhere, and later found in the freezer dead. So it's a lot of cases that comes out like this. And even Kendrick Johnson, um, I believe that's the young man that was found in the mat in the gym, the basketball player. So it's definitely one of those things where we need to demand answers. Everybody do, because cases like this that happen all so often, and people think it's just it's not happening. But yeah, it do happen. Um, yeah, Kendrick Johnson was the young man that was found in the mat. So he's another victim where he was found in a gym mat. His shoes, now they said he suffocated. Said he suffocated, but he was in this gym mat, shoes on the side of him neatly. Eh, eh, They will feed you anything to take the spotlight off of them. It's so easy to say someone committed suicide, did this, did that, instead of doing a job and investigating it. That's why last year when Lisa Johnson family was on here out of Washington State, they said they ruled her murder a suicide. For years, we heard that suicide rates are so high in Washington State due to the depression of all the rain they get. Now, here's the key. Uh, that may be part of it, but if the police is quick to rule a suicide, who gonna question that? That's why we need to question this and ask people, hey, this don't look like a suicide. Lisa Johnson, the evidence just didn't add up. And I personally don't feel like it is a suicide. But hopefully they reopen that case. Um, at the time we did the interview with the pandemic, everybody wasn't working in the office. So hopefully, I don't know if they're back in the office, but hopefully they reopen this case and investigate it more. I mentioned her name, Lisa Johnson, for people can realize that, hey, it's something wrong with this situation. I've had people to reach out to me, leaving message saying, I've been investigating things like this, and it's a serial killer up there because there's several other people been found the same way or the same similar style killing. And you could go on YouTube, look at the past video about Lisa Johnson when I did the interview with her family, and listen to the evidence. It's definitely something going on. So definitely pay attention to it. Lisa Johnson is her name. Pull up her information, and and let's bring all the family closure instead of just putting them to the side. No, let's find out exactly what happened. Now, what they have said, uh, some of the other folks cases was a suicide, knowing that it wasn't. I don't think they would have. So uh, so definitely pull them up, share the information, for we can bring attention to this because unfortunately, when Black folks go missing, the news don't put it out there. They don't care. When Black folks are killed a certain way, they don't care. That's not important to them. So yeah, we need to expose all of this and make sure we help bring closure to these families because they are going through a lot. Can you imagine? Here it is, your child, you having to bury your child, and you don't know exactly what happened to your child. You just know they was murdered. That's all you know. They was murdered. Or they'll say it was suicide, but you know your child. You know your child. So what we need to do is expose when we hear about Black missing people, missing folks, we need to share that information and put it out there. And hopefully the person will come back safe. Kind of like the young lady from Fort Hood Soldier, the Fort Hood Soldier last week. They put out she was missing, but she was found safe. So that's a good story. But even if you don't know, it don't cost you nothing to share information that is coming from officials that this soldier was missing. But it shouldn't just be because it's a soldier. If you know somebody who is um, having someone missing, a child missing, it's best to share it. And then if they're found safe or not found, uh, definitely if they found safe, put it back and put found on the post that you share for people would know. That's what I did with the young lady in Fort Hill. Yeah, I shared that she was missing. And it came out she was found safe. I went back and put found safe. So it don't cost anything to do that. You could do that in what, 15 to 30 seconds? So it's nothing wrong with doing that. But we have to start trying to do what we can to help bring some of these people back home instead of just talking about it and assuming, oh, this person did that. Don't judge the book by its cover. Definitely don't do that. Because while you sitting up talking about them, guess what? It's a family out here hurting about it. Somebody loved that person. Share the information. The police ain't gonna really talk about it. A lot of time they tell folks, oh, you need to wait X amount of time before you can report it missing. But why? Why wait? They always say, well, a lot of time we hear, oh, they probably just hanging out with their friends over with their friends and stuff like that, not looking at the evidence, especially when it comes down to black folks. So yeah, let's share that information. Let's bring closure to some of these people. You never know what somebody have said or heard or or seen, and because they may not been on social media that day. It's a lot of stuff I find out about after the fact because I don't come on social media that way. That's why I always tell you if you want to reach me, you send me a message. I get that quicker, but to go and look on my page, I don't hardly do that. But if you send me a message, yeah, I would definitely look at that. So hopefully the families will get closure. I know with um, Kendrick Johnson, we did an update on his story not too long ago, and they reopening his case and investigating it. But as for Jalen, they didn't want to investigate it. Probably because they seen the condition his body was in, and because of the condition his body was in, they was like, you know what? They're gonna criticize us about it, um, and the problem is, I would at least you could have brought closure to that family, but you concerned about what it's gonna look for the police department. What it looked like to me when y'all waited so long um, to actually uh, do the well, you probably did the DNA before, just didn't want to say it because you seen the condition of it, and you didn't want these other questions to come up about human trafficking. Well, guess what? It came up anyway. It came up anyway, and it didn't do it. It didn't help none. You just pissed folks off holding evidence instead of coming out. You probably could have been past this by now, but no, you made yourself the spotlight. And because you made yourself the spotlight, hell, it's the consequence. In Bloomington, Indiana is not. They've been in the news quite a bit, kind of like the brother last year. Believe it was 4th of July last year, where he was almost lynched, hanging out with his friends. And then the DA talked about been trying to convince him to drop the charges, or she gonna press charges against him. And she did press charges against him, which we need to do another update, see where it stands at now. But she told him if he did not drop the charges, she was gonna press charges on him to get him to drop them. And he said no. You want to press charges against me? Go ahead. I'm not changing my story. We seen the video. They tried to lynch that brother. So yeah, we need to do everything we can to expose injustice, because when it come down to a certain group of people, injustice is the problem. They look at us as if we less than, like we're not an American, we're not a human, we're just animals. So we need to bring this to the spotlight and continue to bring it to the spotlight, and hopefully it will change something. Now, I know some people are going to say, oh, that's the point when you finna talk about voting. Yes, it is. It's important that we vote, because the leaders that we have now, majority of them, we need to get them out. I don't care what party you with. We need to get them out. All the governors that came down to Texas last week, all those governor that came here to support the piece of a governor that we have, Greg Abbott. Well, guess what? All of y'all need to find out if your governor came, and y'all need to be looking at voting them out. See, the only thing they doing is a political stunt, because they up for re-election next year. They trying to do everything they can to win. That's why Greg Abbott, we're gonna roll him right on out. And we're gonna roll him straight out the governor mansion. Your time is up. That's all to it. Your time is up. Everything you've done since you've been in office, you only did it for a certain group of folks. And when the pandemic started, he signed that executive order uh, by closing Texas down. And 2 young ladies down near the border was arrested because they continued to work. But then little Becky come along, tore up her ticket, got arrested, and he changed his executive order again to please her. But he didn't say nothing when the 2 Hispanic ladies got arrested down near the border for the same thing she did. But then he want to change his executive order when it came down to little Becky. So don't get it twisted. He only going after a certain group of folks. He been in office all this time and haven't mentioned nothing about the wall until it's time for him to get reelected. That's why we need to get him up out of there. And Ted Cruz, I know we still got a little bit of time on you, but Dan Patrick, Ken Paxton, Sid Miller, y'all time is up. Board of Education, y'all on notice too. And y'all don't want to talk about the true history of America, thanks to Greg Abbott, but we're going to change all that too. It's time for all of you to go. The true history of America needs to be taught in all schools across America. Matter of fact, hell, across this world. Because people that come here, the way that the media is, they portray black folks as animal, and then they come here and they turn around and think everything is true that they seen on the news. So the true history of America need to be told. The racism, it need to be told. Now, I know we did the show about the Haitians, and they saying there's some more coming toward the border. Now, here it is, Biden. Like I said, I voted for you, but you don't do what's right. I refuse to vote for you. And Harris need to step up, say, hey, this ain't right. Because people complain about the Haitians coming to the border, but here it is. I think it was 120,000 or so of Talibans that they um, rescued out of Afghanistan, and only 6,000 was America. So where you think the other 100,000 plus went? They brought them here. And they also negotiating right now with the Taliban's and trying to come up with a plan. So the thing is, you're talking about helping them out who have a history of attacking America, but when Haitian trying to escape for the same thing of what's going on in their country, you don't want to give them no relief. So once again, where's the equalness? Yeah, they should come here legally, but you have one country you bringing over here for them to escape their oppressors, and you have other ones that's coming here by foot or however they get in here, and you fly them right back to the mess they just came out of. If that ain't racist, you tell me, because this whole time uh, people been crossing that border, y'all been putting them up in tents, stuff like that. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still some Haitians down there at the border. The news just not talking about it, and it's uh, places that are actually providing supplies for them, like Friendship West. They teamed up with people providing supplies for them. So yes, we still have a right to treat people the right way. That's what we should do. They didn't care. My problem is with Biden. The day after they got there, we need to ship them back. We need to take them back. I didn't see them do that with nobody else. Right away, sent them back. Where's the justice in that? But at the same time, you're and brought 120 Taliban's over here. Oh, and let's talk about this bill. There's something else y'all need to pay attention to before we get up out of here. Um, that bill they working on, I believe HBCUs used to get like 24, 26 billion dollars a year between the HBCUs. Now it's rumored that they may only get 2 billion. You're dropping 22, 24 billion from what they used to get. And now they only going to get 2 billion. Mm. Yeah, y'all let that marinate a little bit, because there's something wrong with that whole picture. Yeah, we understand that a lot of people have left some of these other schools to go to HBCUs, but don't handicap them, trying to cause them to fail. HBUs don't get the recognition like some of these big universities. So don't try to handicap them and force them to fail. That's all I'm saying. Make it equal. Are you also cutting back the funds on these other universities because they charge a hell of a lot more than HBCUs. So it's a problem. It's a problem. That's a problem that most people don't want to talk about. But hey, the importance of vote, getting out and voting. That's what we need to do. Vote these leaders out that is one-sided. And right now, from what I've seen with President Biden, he's one-sided. He lied to get in office. He made the comment, if you ain't black, you don't vote for me, you're not black enough during the campaign. Had the interview with Cardi B, but then turned around, forgot about all of that once he got voted in. Yeah, it's time to make a change. Definite time to do that. You're listening to Speak on It with Who You With Kurt Dog. I'm Who You With Kurt Dog. We've talked about several stories tonight that I didn't have no idea we was going to talk about. I talked about um, Clifford Owensby, the paraplegic that was drugged out of the car by his dreadlocks. We also talked about by Dayton Police Department uh, after playing with them and letting them know he's a paraplegic, and they still treated him like trash. Um, we talked about Jelani, the autopsy report, all the missing organs. Yeah, talked about him, and we mentioned Lisa Johnson. How the state of Washington said it was a suicide, but the evidence don't add up. We even talked about the Haitians that are coming, supposedly be coming back to the border. We talked about them and how they still it's some down there that need supplies. So you could go to freshwest.org if you want to donate to them for the cause. Donate money because they could get a lot more supplies by donating money, and they could buy it in bulk and get a better discount. Um, so they do need supplies. There's still some down on the border, even though the media are not talking about it. It's still some Haitians down there, and they're expecting more. And we talked about how President Biden hurry up and said, put them on planes, send them back. But at the same time, he using those planes to bring Taliban's here. Uh, they rescued over 120 some thousand, and only 600 was Americans. That's 6,000 was American. So, yeah, we talked about that, and then we also talked about the huge cut they doing to HBCUs. Where they cutting in, I guess they used to get somewhere between 24 26 billion a year through for all the HBCUs, and now they getting it rumored that they supposed to get about 2 billion this year for all of them. So that's an issue. That's an issue. I don't know if President Biden is actually making the calls on these or what's going on. But we need to send all our elected officials a message and let them know we're not going for it. We're not. Um, you're right, T. Cal said, knowing they need that money. Yes, because they don't get that big money like SMUs, TCUs, and stuff like that. They don't charge the same rates they charge. So yeah, they do need the money. So they definitely need the money. People don't realize that. HBCUs get overlooked just like they overlook black folks on a regular base. But it's a lot of famous people that have came out of HBCUs. A lot of people doing great things that have came out of HBCUs. You get the education, but it also going to take money to provide that education. And you cutting it 20 something billion, that's jacked up. Especially after you use the term, you're not black enough if you don't vote for me. And you need to stand by what you said. That's why I said during the election, if you don't do what's right, you will be a one-term president. And unfortunately, um, Vice President Harris is going to be caught up in that web because she's right there with you. I would love to see her be president, but we need to make some changes. I won't support her because she's on that same administration. Yes, and I know it's not her the one making the decision, but she should be able to have some type of input, some leadership. Matter of fact, she went to a HBCU. She should be pissed about it. Those same funds that probably got her through school, they trying to cut. She should be outspoken about it. TCAL said it's a vicious cycle because black college need that. Exactly, they need all of it. They need everybody to step up. If you're going through HBCUs, go back, support your schools that you went to. Donate. And I know it's a lot of people that actually do donate. But it should be, if they getting this fund from the government, they should continue to be able to get the funds and not getting cut down. TK said when we have great and not getting paid worth due to color, that's a mess too. Exactly. Welcome to the show. Marcella Smith is in the house. Thank you for always tuning in, supporting the show. Straight out of Louisiana. So thank you for supporting. Said, what's up, everyone? So those are a couple of stories that we hit on tonight. Now, like I said, the phone lines is always open. If it's a point you want to make, you can always call in. But please do not block your number. I won't call you back. But at the same time, we do get some folks calling in talking crazy, and they'll block their number because they're cowards. I'm not saying all of them are, but the ones I did pick up, they was coward because they hid behind a blocked number instead of doing the right thing. You may not have the same opinion as myself, but at least call in and be respectful. If you can't do that, don't call. Hell, don't call. But yeah, don't be like the person that will call me 30 times in one night with a blocked number. That don't make sense. Don't be that person. But you always welcome to call in. The number is always strolling across the top of the screen. Now I'm saying you can call in, but only doing live shows. Only doing live shows. Any other time, it's going to voicemail. But yeah. So that's what we've been talking about tonight. Dealing with, and this is crazy. We need to focus on this black market organ that is going on, organ trafficking, because we have done a lot of story, and a lot of them have came up and said they're missing some type of organs. So we definitely need to do that. Hold on. See who this is. Oh, I seen a text came in. I'm like, oh Lord. Yeah, but if you're just not tuning in, please take the time, whatever platform you're on, please take the time um, to like, share, subscribe, give likes, the hearts, whatever, while you're on there, and tell a friend. We're live mostly Sunday through Thursday. Last night I wasn't on. I had pre-arrangement beforehand, but I'm here tonight. And then also, these last couple of weeks have really been rough. Really been rough. Um, Receiving phone calls of um, people that I know have passed away, seeing it online. Um, it's been a struggle because I'm trying to think how many have it been. Um, Been a lot of them, but one that I'm gonna mention to the Chambers family. We're praying for you. I've been knowing her since I was 6 years old. Um, Maybe, yeah, I guess about 6 or 7, about 6. And very sweet woman. Just found out the other day she passed away. So to the family, we love y'all. If you need anything, let us know. Um, and Other people that I know, same as y'all. If you need something, let us know. We'll do what we can. So and praying for y'all too, because it's a lot of them. There's no way I can really name all of them. Um, it's a lot of them, and I know I'm not the only ones that's losing people close to me or people that I know. Everybody's dealing with things and losing loved ones, which is really hard during this time. Um, because it's not like what it used to be. We could be by their side. It's not like that now. Um, so definitely um, check on your friends and family. If you haven't talked to someone in a while, shoot them a text, call them, just see how they doing, and go from there. Because you never know what a person is going through. And I was talking um, with a cousin today, and we got to talking, and um, it was rough. Um, Talking with her, talked about my mom a little bit, her mom, and someone that was close to her. And I told her, I said, this time of the year is really hard. Because my mom, we talk pretty much every day. And at times when I have something going on, I will call, want to talk to her, and it's rough. Or if something is being celebrated, I want to call, talk to her. And it's hard to do that. So, um, and my cousin was telling me, she said, um, I was getting ready to call her last week because of um, the celebration that happened last week with the family. And congratulations to my younger cousin on your success. Um, so, um, and my mom was the first one they normally would call. So, um, and she got to the point where she was getting ready to call but couldn't call. So it's rough when you lose a loved one during this time. Uh, that's why it's always good just to someone cross your mind, call them, send them a text. I would do it in a heartbeat. I may haven't talked to somebody in years, but if they cross my mind, I'll send them a text and say, "Hey, just checking up on you. I haven't talked to you in a while. I want to make sure you're okay." And that's all to it. So, um, welcome to the show, Freeman Channel. Thank you for tuning in again. good conversation last week. So I appreciate you for tuning in. Um, but definitely, like I said before, any case that you hear of someone that is missing, um, definitely share the information. You could save a life, or someone could see something, and that could make a difference at the outcome. For these brothers, organs missing, stuff like that, being murdered, and they not getting highlighted. Not just the brothers, but it's a lot of sisters that has been murdered too, are coming up missing, and they not being exposed like anybody else. And that's what we need to change. We need to make sure um, it's an equal playing field for everyone. They need to revamp that Amber Alert system, because here it is when it's Amber Alert. Unfortunately, here in Texas, we don't get too many Amber Alerts for little black kids missing. We don't get that type of exposure. They may say something, oh, the mother ran off with the kids, um, or the daddy ran off with the kids and not supposed to have them, but they not finna send out a wide statewide alert like they would anybody else. Now we might hear a piece of it on the local news, but that's about it. And if the local news not finna come on, then if it's past 6 o'clock, you're not gonna hear about it until 9 o'clock. And that's too much time to go by when it's a child missing. And they will not, they very suddenly put out an Amber Alert when it's dealing with a black child. And I know it's some government um, agency, they get Amber's Alert every time one comes out. So why we cannot put out one for every child? That's what we need to do. When a missing person is coming up missing, suspicious situation, let's put them out. Shouldn't matter what color they are. Let's put them out. Maybe we can find them alive. So that's my opinion. Everybody may not feel the same, but at the same time, we're all here. We all need to be treated equally, regardless of your race, your background. We all need to be treated equally. Um, I don't know if that's. I think we got a. Uh, Somebody left a comment. Uh, that's on a different. Okay, thank you for your comment, Brian Gritty. But while you're on the page, please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. Um, like, share, tell a friend. We are live, but we're not talking about that particular show tonight. But I will respond to it. But in advance, I want to thank you because I haven't read your comment. I just seen you made one. So definitely take the time to like, share, tell a friend, tell a friend, and be a part of the show. Trying to see what he said because I bet those women Robert killed would have preferred to come inside and shoot them. But it's you dirty bastard. Um, yeah, yeah. See, that's the type of shit we deal with. That right there. Um, yeah, and you probably was the fool to call me with a block number a while ago too. But hey, that's your opinion. But I'm surprised that message even made it through. I need to check my settings again. So um yeah. Ryan Goritti. Yeah, yeah. Very smart of you. Okay. But other than that, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. We will be back tomorrow night, long as the good Lord say the same. And for Ryan, get you some help. get some help. I don't know where you're located, but they have sex offenders counseling in every city, every state, somewhere close by you. But get you some help, and it's some mental help while you're at it. So, other than that, I appreciate each and every one of you. Love you. Until tomorrow night, peace.